So I've got an update about the video I made a few days ago talking about the issue with the motherboard and a company called Memory C that I had bought it from and had an issue getting a replacement. If you haven't seen that, you can go watch it. But I am glad to say that the issue is now fully been resolved. They got me a full refund and also offered an explanation. You know, they apologized and all that stuff. So we can go through the details and then some more of my thoughts and responding to some of the comments and questions people had also. So anyway, I woke up on Monday morning, got an email from Memory C with like an apology explanation. I don't think they'll care about me showing it. It's a good email. It explains a lot. And so you can see they owned up to it, but also they explained the thing that me and probably a lot of you were wondering is what the heck even happened, or like what was the problem on the other end. And what they said was, so first of all, they received the RMA that I had sent them in. They went to send it to the supplier, which in this case was that VIP computer center supplier that I noticed on one of the Asus websites. I didn't know at the time if that was the vendor. Turns out it was. And I guess this vendor told them that they would forward the board to Asus, I guess, for replacement, or who knows, maybe they forwarded it even further up the chain. But in any case, apparently this would normally take a couple weeks from the vendor. But after a while, when the vendor didn't provide an update, I guess Memory C reached out and was like, what's going on? And turns out the vendor says that they lost the board. They didn't know where it was. They would try to look for it and get back to them, which I guess they never did. So then at that point, after I had emailed yet again asking about the status of the board, they decided to just ship me a replacement. And I guess someone there made a mistake or a misjudgment or whatever in terms of what equivalent was and decided to just ship it to me without asking, which they did, you know, admit was a mistake to not at least even offer the replacement, instead just shipping it out and, you know, asking, would this be okay, or any other options. And this is pretty much what I suspected was the most likely case anyway, so I'm not really surprised this all lines up. And as for my emails going unresponded, they said that in the meantime, they had missed my subsequent emails as they upgraded the ticket system, and for some reason my tickets weren't showing up. I'm going to assume that's like a simplified explanation and, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just not trying to throw someone under the bus. I don't know, but I'm sure they're going to work on making sure this doesn't happen again with maybe new systems, hopefully. And then they were pretty straightforward about saying, yeah, we messed up. We shouldn't have sent you the board. We shouldn't have not responded. And I'm sure, understandably, a lot of you are going to be thinking, well, yeah, of course they're going to own up to it after, you know, someone makes a video and gets a bunch of views about it. So in this case, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to judge yourself how genuine you think they're being. And I think based on the wording of it, it seems like they were pretty genuine. I don't think they were out to screw me, intentionally at least, even though I kind of was being screwed. There were a few comments pointing out that, yeah, it's very possible that whoever decided on shipping a replacement probably didn't even know the difference, which, you know, was also very possible. Anyway, in terms of remedying the situation, they offered me 3 different options. I think all of them were fair, given that they did offer all of them. One of the options was I would keep the board they sent me, and they'd also give me a 50% refund, which would have probably added up to about the MSRP of the one that I sent in. Or they offered to have me send back the one that they sent me and then choose another one that would have satisfied a replacement for me. And then of course they offered a full refund option, which is the one that I ultimately went with. And as of right now, everything is sorted. They did issue me the refund already, the money's in my account, and I shipped back the motherboard. FedEx has it. So everything's sorted right now. And hopefully the supplier that actually ended up losing the board ends up reimbursing Memory C, because, you know, the supplier is the one that ended up losing the board. So really, at the end of the day, Memory C is just entitled to reimbursement from the supplier, as I am from the retailer. Now, I did read basically all the comments, and there were some questions people had and things I figured I'd address. So one thing a lot of people were asking is, why does it matter what country you bought it in? Why is Asus not servicing the board anyway? And basically, it's just to prevent people from buying the same product in a country where it's sold for a lot cheaper and then not ever buying it at the true price. You know, it might be sold at a discount or very near the actual margin in other countries. And if they had to sell every single device at that small margin, they wouldn't be in business. So they kind of have to give people a reason to buy it in the actual country that, you know, the margins make sense. Though in this case, I did kind of look it up, and it seems like the MSRP for what it was sold in Germany, considering even the currency conversion, is basically the same as what the MSRP is in the US, or was. So that argument might not have held up, but also they might have different warranty terms in different countries. There's several reasons. My point is, it's pretty standard. It shouldn't be a surprise that this is not the case. I also saw a lot of comments from people saying that, Memory C or the supplier, they're just gonna take the board and resell it for a profit, which I never believed that was a possibility. First of all, rationally, it wouldn't make sense because the board is not worth that much used. Maybe if it was the Z790 Maximus Extreme, you could make that argument, but definitely not even with this one, if I even believed they were gonna risk, the reputation on like a literal scam. I don't think so. Because that's the other thing. Memory C is a legitimate, retailer. They've been around for a while. There've been plenty of comments from people actually saying that they shopped it there many times, no issues. So I really believe that this was probably just the case of a screw up. In my opinion, a big screw up, $500 plus screw up, but not like an intentional scam or anything like that. There's also a lot of comments from people saying, oh, just do a chargeback on the credit card, just do a chargeback. Several problems with that. First of all, the transaction was like over 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe you could have convinced them because of the circumstances, but usually that's well after the limit that a lot of companies or credit card companies would go with. Second of all, the transaction was through Walmart. So Walmart actually took the payment and then it was passed on. So if I'd done a chargeback, it would have charged back Walmart and they would have just banned my account on a transaction that big, no doubt about it. And I kind of want to keep the Walmart account. I've used it before, so didn't want to do that. There was also one comment from someone who had a bit of insight, I guess, into the VIP computer center company that was the supplier. They said that it is a pretty big supplier in the UK, and usually they're pretty good about RMAs and replacements. So it seems like it was just a lot of unfortunate decisions or mistakes or whatever that just kind of all added up to a mess of a situation. In any case, I consider the matter closed, so you can kind of make your own decision what you think based on the response, and let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. So thanks so much for watching and have a good one.